This is Rick. I am the Rick.
You are the Rick.
I am Dr. Rick.
You're
You may
Dr.
know, you may not know, but the important thing is hello, everybody at home.
Can I just say to you?
No, you can't. I'm trying to talk at birds.
Can I just say, all right, everybody, my name's Kevin Turvey.
You could do it if you could do it like Kevin does.
Kevin
right?
Turvey.
That's a long time ago.
Where was Kevin supposed to be from very specifically? Pin him down to a village. Redditch. So it's halfway between a black country accent and a Birmingham accent.
Well, it's not far from a Bromsgrove accent, but it's quite a bit like a dry pitch one.
Well, we're like that in this part of the world, because people from Bury, if you said they had a Bolton accent or a Rochdale accent, even though there's the thick end of about 11 miles between the three towns, would be wildly insulted. How dare you, sir?
You're the man who knows, but I am also a Manchester man. Now, you should be honoured by this.
We are deeply honoured.
Were you honoured?
Yes, absolutely. Only briefly, though. But
no, it was a more visual gag, that one, wasn't it?
Well, hold on, because it all started from...
No, I will not hang on, because I was about to tell you that when I was a little boy and I cheated magnificently at school, when I was in Droitwich in Worcestershire, right, middle of nowhere, and I got into Manchester University on clearing. This is Manchester. Clearing is what's happened when... Are you allowed to say fuck on the radio?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay. When you fuck up your A-levels... like I did, because I was an naughty boy, because I was too busy snogging and being with birds. And,
Jeremy Clarkson says that, and it's not true.
Please,
it's
this
not
is my
true.
interview.
When it goes back, it says, he wasn't, he got expelled. No, he didn't.
How the hell does he know about my love life?
No, but now you
You're saying Jeremy Clarkson said I was not a
what
shagger when I
I'm
was 15.
saying is that you all come there, I was such a bad lad, and then it turns out you were a right swat.
If you are going to
Prove how bad you are right now.
Right.
What do you mean? It's the flesh-coloured cube. The flesh-coloured cube. That one. There it is. See? I have got a knob.
The point of the fact of the matter is that I am a grown-up man now. I'm 52 years old. I know that you're only about 30, Steve, but the important thing is that although I came to Manchester and I lived in... Some people think that East Didsbury is a little bit snotty, right?
Ooh.
Well, it's flipping well not, right? Because East Didsbury is where me and some of my mates, we lived in a little house, and because it was such a shithole, and we never did the washing up, like all youngsters do. And so it was such an inspiration to be at that house, which is why, and this is God's truth, that's why we wrote The Young Ones, because I thought it was a very funny house, and it was The Young Ones was based. Like the programme or not, this is the birthplace of The Young Ones.
When I left school and didn't go to university, unlike everybody else, and actually
cool.
got a job in the building trade, like getting up at ridiculous o'clock and going to work.
Yeah.
Me and my brother could only tolerate the world of work by watching obsessively The Young Ones at least 3 or 4 times before every single day. That's not right, is it? Until we could probably recite entire episodes back to front.
And now the whole thing's turned upside down, and here you are, the leading DJ of Manchester, and here we are, you see, so you've taken over my mantle. 2 years ago, I was given an honorary doctorate of literature by Exeter University, excuse me. So I thought, right, I am now a doctor of literature. What shall I do to validate my intellect? I know what I'll do. I'll write a World Cup song, because this is England's last chance to win the World Cup in the Mayan calendar. And so it's time for every Englishman and woman to stand up and be counted. My sword and my shield and my honour are at my nation's disposal. All for one and one for all. And that is why I have decided to release a single.
Marvellous.
An anthem which is called Noble England, for we are the noble English.
Haven't you co-opted the bard?
We wrote it together, yes.
Yes.
Me and Shaker Bill, we got out. That's William Shakespeare. That's what he likes to be known to his friends. Shaker Bill.
Oh, yeah.
He was a populist, and he liked to write for the people. He liked to get his hands dirty, so he decided to work with Rick. We've written a song together. Once more onto the pitch, dear friends.
Oh, very good. I see what you did there.
Here's our country. It's absolutely knackered. It's lying blank down on the floor, absolutely knackered. Everybody's broke. So, I mean, surely now's the time for us to do something, pull together. I mean, it doesn't matter who's going to be Prime Minister. Everyone's going to be miserable and depressed anyway, and the economy's wrecked. So what we have to have is someone to lead us.
Indeed.
And not necessarily me.
Well, why not you?
Well, absolutely. That's what I'm saying, with modesty. And so we have to pull together, we have some bravery. What I wanted was a song that has some power and some drive and something that makes your blood run thicker. Marvelous. And who better to write the words than Shakespeare?
Indeed.
And me, obviously.
Of course.
So we combine it.
Do you know what? We were talking about you yesterday because we played Bad Moon Rising by the Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Oh, yeah,
and I said,
there's a band I did like.
Yeah, but people said, well, you knew he was in the Slaughtered Lamb, don't you? And I said, yeah, Leon Harris, the man from Paris. Brian Glover. They went, yeah, but who sat next to him? And I thought, damn it, Rik Mayall. we couldn't remember whether you actually say anything or you just give a startled expression. Did you say stay on the path or something like that? That was about it, wasn't it?
I simply do not remember. This was about 30 years ago, wasn't it?
Yes.
Occasionally, when a man has had a serious head injury, he can be forgiven for not remembering whether he said a line or not.
Did you notice that Harry Hill, when he was introducing one of his clips on his hilarious clip show on ITV1, two men on a quad bike, and he goes, there goes Rik Mayall and Ozzy Osbourne on a quad bike, and I thought, that's a bit near the knuckle. They nearly died, man. It wasn't like a broken arm, was it? It was like life-threatening injuries, was it not?
Yeah, I'm very proud of them. I'm dead for 5 days, which is what's so lovely, was the fact that Jesus was only dead for 3. And that is my good fortune. It happened to me on the day before my family called Crap Thursday, because it was the day before Good Friday. Honestly, it was. And that's when I died, and they kept me alive until Bank Holiday Monday after Easter. And then the little thing started flickering me. Bleep, bleep. I mean, it's a long time ago now. It's 12 years ago. But it did go bleep, bleep. It said, blimey, I think he's going to come round, Mrs. Mayall. I think he's going to be all right. So I was actually technically dead for 5 days, 2,000 years after Jesus.
One of the best things about doing this job is getting to meet some of the elder statesmen of rock. Now, you look more like one of the elder statesmen of rock than the elder statesmen of rock. You look more like one of them than Billy Gibbons or Pete Townsend.
Because I'm haggard and knackered and...
Well, you've got black clothes and rock hair. He's got the rock hair, hasn't he, missus? That is proper rock hair. But of course, well, you were in a rock band. Bad news.
Well, of course.
Come on.
Excuse me, I had a #1 single with Sir Cliff.
Yeah, but...
Now, come on.
This is 106.1 Rock Radio, Rick.
Yeah.
We want to talk bad news. Everyone's getting back together. That's what everyone's doing these days. Come on. What are the chances of bad news reforming it? I mean, has anyone in the whole and entire history of rock music ever got pelted with more bottles of piss than you guys did? Tell us about that. The footage on YouTube is astonishing. There's a hail.
Was I in a wheelchair on that day?
I think you were, actually.
Yeah, because I had to pretend to be in a wheelchair so that I could read poetry, because it was the reading festival. I thought it was rather amusing. Because the reading festival, I said it was the reading, so I was reading from Madame Bovary, and that's when there was a hail of bottles of piss. And I was in a wheelchair. I mean, that's rock fans.
A bit of flow there. Yeah, nice.
That's right.
That was obviously going to get over.
I thought it was rather good.
Can we just put one myth to bed? Bad news first, Spinal Tap second. Yes.
I think so. I seem to remember.
I'm pretty convinced. The evidence on the internet, if it can be believed in any way, shape or form, is that Bad News was slightly before Spinal Tap. And nobody copied anybody else, I don't think. You just had the same idea around the same time.
With my hand on my knob, I can say to you that there's no way that Bad News was a copy of anything, so I have to assume. I remember us being very disappointed when we heard about Spinal Tap, and Spinal Tap being very good. We kind of just thought, oh, someone else has done our gag. I mean, it's a matter of honour that gentlemen of comedy would never steal a gag, not if there was any chance of them getting caught.
So Aid's doing his Bad Shepherds thing, isn't he?
Well, you got the Bad Shepherds, who may do a cover version of Noble England.
Oh, how fantastic.
Yes.
Slightly incestuous, but never mind.
Well, I haven't persuaded him yet, but I think that would be a rather good idea.
But what would it take to get Bad News back together? Come on.
Cash.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Cash and birds.
Cash and birds?
Yeah.
Was that the point in the first place?
Well, and we're all getting on a bit, so cash, birds and Viagra. Well, and we'd be away. And of course it would be cool if we got the gag right.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm working with Pete at the moment, actually. There's a very funny script, which I won't go into. I mean, really funny script, which I won't go into the details of, that used to be called Extreme Bad Taste, but is now called It Ends Badly. And that is, it's good, isn't it? Which is why, one of the reasons why I'm growing my hair at the moment, because I hope play such a good character in it. So I shall mention the fact to Pete that you said the Bad News ought to get together again.
Somebody's going to drag you in a second. Last question. What would Alan Bastard make of this election? Would he have fared well, or would he have been brought down during the expenses crisis? Surely.
I personally brought down the Thatcher administration, and I personally brought down the Tony Blair administration with Alan Bastard. So we have to wait for another government to be set up before we'll bring Alan back.
Surely he could come back.
The boys actually have got a very good film idea, which is where Alan goes to Europe, which I think about the European Parliament. And I don't think it necessarily needs to be a film. I think if there were a sitcom with Alan in as a European commissioner, I think that could be very good. Very good indeed. But I think the most important thing is that England this year managed to win the World Cup.
Exactly.
Because this is the last World Cup there will ever be.
Absolutely.
So it's time for we English men, women to
stand up.
Stand up and be counted.
Stand up and
be counted. 1, 2, 3.
3.
Right, knobs out.
Hang on, that's a slight problem with me.
Yeah, but you've got that one that you keep in your handbag, haven't you?
Yeah,
Now, that's just enough. Good night.
This is 106.1 Rock Radio.